All right, let's move on and get going with the show and all the buzzers in the trading session today. And for that, we're joined by Akshay Bhagwat, who's the Senior Vice President, Derivatives Research, JM Financial Services, who's joining us on the technicals. And of course, let's get going with the show. And the first stock that is buzzing in trade is Radico Khaitan. That's up in a way almost 3.5%. The Magic Moments has set a new benchmark for Indian vodka. They've sold 3.25 million cases in the first quarter of FY27. And a landmark milestone as it reflects the rapid evolution of India's vodka category, driven by premiumization, flavor innovation, and changing the consumer preferences. And on the back of that, right now, in fact, Radico Khaitan is at the highest point of the day, trading with gains of 4.5%.
Okay, so that's Radico Khaitan for you. But Akshay, you've picked up ONGC. This is one counter which tends to lose out when crude oil prices decline, and we have seen that trend over the last few days. On the charts, what does the chart of ONGC suggest at this point in time?
First of all, good afternoon to all. ONGC has been in a downtrend in the month of June, and since the beginning of July, we have seen a good, strong recovery from the support base of 230 from multiple times. There is a tendency of this stock to bounce back from the support of 230 zone. Similar pattern is unfolding, and we should soon see ONGC moving up for possible targets of 255 odd levels.
So that's ONGC and 255. That's the level that you need to keep an eye out on. But shifting focus to another counter which is doing very well for itself, and that is Diamond Power. In fact, the stock is locked in upper circuit of 10% in today's trading session on the back of a big order win. The company informed the exchanges that they've won an order worth about 436 crore. This is awarded by major EPC players, which include L&T, Sterling and Wilson and Blue Star. Now this, remember, is for supply of approximately 21.4 lakh meters of cables in aggregate, and the deliveries of this is expected to commence in the first week of August and will be completed by the end of this fiscal in March 2027. This order, remember, ranks among the largest single cable supply orders in India's booming data center market, and that is the reason it's a big win for the company. It's a big order win for the company, and that is the reason the stock is locked in upper circuit of 10% as we speak.
All right, Diamond Power locked in the upper circuit, but let's talk about Metropolis Healthcare. That is up in a way 3%. The good Q1 business updates coming in there. The revenue is seeing an uptick of 16% on a year-on-year basis. They've recorded healthy volume growth as well. Margin improvement is also seen on a year-on-year basis, and they have had a steady margin improvement on a sequential basis as well. On the back of these business updates coming in for Metropolis Healthcare, that stock is up in a way right now at the highest point of the day, trading with gains of almost 2.9%.
Okay, so that's Metropolis Healthcare. But Akshay, you've picked up Nalco for us from the aluminium pack, National Aluminium. What do the charts of this one suggest for the near term?
So most of the metal names have been on the receiving end in the month of June, but the way the technical charts are posed currently, they have seen a recovery tendency in the last 3 to 4 trading sessions. And the best pick among them is Nalco based on the price charts, because 330, 340 zone is a very strong monthly support from Nalco. And we believe the small rally which is unfolding in the last 3 days has legs all the way to go up till 375 on short-term trading parameters.
Okay, so that's Nalco for you. But shifting focus from one to a counter to another, then Senco Gold. That stock is in focus today on the back of operational updates, and very strong operational updates is what the company has reported for the fourth quarter. The stock has given up a tad bit from the highest point of the day, but despite that, holding on to gains of nearly 2%. Now, total revenue growth in the fourth quarter stood at about 60% on a year-on-year basis, and this is a big beat versus street expectations. Same-store sales growth stood at about 38% on a year-on-year basis. And remember, in the first quarter of FY27, gold prices have risen by about 62% on a year-on-year basis and 1% on a sequential basis. As far as the stud ratio is concerned, that stood at 11% in the first quarter. Now, the management says that the benefit of customs duty hike is likely to accrue over the first and second quarter, and full benefit of customs duty rise will only put pressure on margins in the first quarter. Meanwhile, they've said that the second quarter is likely to be softer on account of monsoon and no marriage season, and that is one factor that will likely play out going forward. But for now, for the first quarter, they've reported very strong operational data. The stock is up 2% on the back of that.
All right, with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more updates on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market Fatafat on ET Now, and this is the show where we discuss all the stocks that are in focus either on the back of technicals or on the back of fundamentals. And clearly, it is turning out to be a good day for Indian equity markets. But let's get going, Ankita, with all the stocks that are in focus today.
The next stock that is in focus is Kirloskar Oil. Indians Kirloskar Oil gained after Jefferies initiated a coverage with a buy rating, and they've set the target price of 2,815 rupees, implying around 21% upside from the current levels. And the brokerage has cited the company's market share gains in high horsepower gensets and its recent breakthrough into the data center power market as key growth drivers. And on account of that, Kirloskar Oil is up in a way 2.8%.
Okay, so that's Kirloskar Oil for you. But Akshay, you've picked up Jubilant Foodworks from the FMCG and the consumption basket. Tell us more. Where do you see the stock headed?
Yeah, so if you look at the monthly charts, the support of 430 is a very massive support. The stock has shown a tendency of recovering back from the support zone, and today it's up by around 3% I believe the recovery should see legs all the way till 475 in the month of July.
Okay, so that's Jubilant Foodworks for you, and look at the kind of moves that we have seen on that counter on an intraday basis. But shifting focus to another counter that is in focus in the back of a brokerage report, and that is Indus Tower. The stock is in focus because Citi has opened a 90-day positive catalyst watch on this counter. They are maintaining their buy stance. 530 is their target price, implying 38% upside as compared to yesterday's closing price. Now, the stock, remember, has corrected nearly 10% in the last 1 month, and Citi says that stock now is within 5% of Citi's bear case valuation of 360 rupees per share. Concerns of energy margins being impacted by high bulk diesel prices have also now receded. Supply side disruptions are likely to be temporary in nature, and they should reverse in the second quarter of FY27. They continue to remain positive due to likely completion of at least one tranche of Vodafone Idea's debt raise following recent promoter equity infusion, and positive management commentary on tenancy additions and order book trends is also likely to aid the stock going forward. So Citi has opened a 90-day positive catalyst watch with a buy rating, and the stock is up nearly 2 to 3% on the back of that.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Shakti Pumps, that is in focus. It was soaring in trade after the company received a letter of empanelment from MSE DCL for supplying 15,000 off-grid solar water pumps under the Megil Taila Krishi Pump Yojana in Maharashtra, and the order is worth around 354 crores. And on account of that, Shakti Pumps is up in a way 3.5%.
Okay, but shifting focus to a private sector banking name, then HDFC Bank. Very strong operational data that the bank has reported. Akshay, from the current levels, what will your view be on HDFC Bank?
So today, as the current market price goes, we have had a technical bullish double bottom breakout on daily charts at the level of 810. It's a very strong development for the positional prospects of HDFC Bank on technical charts. Right now, the breakout is suggestive of an upside move till 860 to 880 on the short-term parameters.
Okay, so that's HDFC Bank, and those are some levels that you need to keep an eye out on. But shifting focus to the consumption basket, then GCPL or Godrej Consumer Products reported its numbers or operational update for the quarter gone by, and the company said that they will deliver double-digit revenue growth, and that's a big beat versus expectations of 9%. Underlying value growth is expected to be in high single digits, again a big beat as compared to expectations of 7%, and growth is likely to be broad-based across all categories. For the consolidated business, revenue growth is likely to be in high teens. First quarter revenue growth will be meaningfully ahead of FY27 guidance of double-digit revenue growth, and EBITDA too is likely to be ahead of estimates. So very strong numbers that the company has reported for the first quarter of FY27. And the management commentary is also very positive. They are saying that they are entering remainder of FY27 with increased confidence. They firmly continue to remain on track to deliver their full year guidance, and there is strong likelihood of exceeding the guidance in some metrics for FY27. So very strong operational uptick, and the stock is up more than 2.5% on the back of that.
All right, let's move on then. Coming to you, Akshay, you picked out Ambuja Cement for us. And if you look at the charts for Ambuja Cement, talk to us about what are the levels that you're tracking. It is seeing some traction in the last 5 odd days, though it has corrected quite a bit. What are the moves that you're penciling in?
So the momentum is caught up in the last couple of days. The broader charts are still more neutral, the range being around 470 on the upside and 410 on the upside. But if one is keen on a short-term trade, considering the momentum the stock has caught up lately, the current setup hints at the stock going up for levels of 460 to 465.
Okay, so that's Ambuja Cements for you, but Adani Energy, that is also another counter that you're shortlisted for us this afternoon. Akshay, Adani Energy, your view?
Yeah, so Adani Energy, if you look at the broader trend, it's absolutely strong. Last, I think, 10 to 12 odd sessions have seen the stock being in a sideways consolidative zone, which we believe was more of a pause or an accumulation phase before the next round of momentum garners back again. And today is exactly that's what we are noting, stock up by around 5 odd percent. And I think this move should continue all the way till 1750 to 1785.
All right, Akshay, on that note, thank you so much for joining us. That was the last talk for the day. But thank you so much for joining us and giving us your picks.